The porcelain doll, Elara, sat on Clara's bedside table, her painted eyes following every tremor of the child's feverish sleep. A chilling wind, unseen and unheard by mortal ears, whistled through the cracks in the ancient window panes, carrying with it the whispers of the entity trapped within Elara's glazed shell. Clara's breaths grew shallow, her skin clammy and cold, mirroring the unnatural chill that now permeated the room. The air thickened, heavy with the scent of decay and damp earth, a miasma that clung to the throat and choked the breath from the lungs. A low, guttural moan, barely audible above the rhythmic ticking of a grandfather clock, seemed to emanate from the doll itself, a sound that promised unimaginable horrors. As dawn bled into the room, painting the walls in sickly hues of gray and violet, the doll's painted smile twisted into a grotesque rictus. Clara's parents, roused by an unearthly shriek that tore through the silence, found their daughter rigid, her eyes wide and vacant, staring at Elara. The ceramic skin of the doll seemed to pulse with a faint, internal light, and a single, obsidian tear traced a path down its cheek. The parents knew, with a certainty that chilled them to their very bones, that the evil within Elara had finally claimed its prize. The house remained silent, save for the chilling whisper of the wind and the soft, almost imperceptible rattle of the doll's head. The nightmare, it seemed, was far from over. Then, one starless night, a storm of unimaginable fury descended upon the house. Rain lashed against the windows, its relentless drumming a counterpoint to the howling wind that clawed at the very foundations of the dwelling. Amidst the tempest, a shriek, far more piercing and agonizing than Clara's death rattle, cut through the chaos. The parents, huddled together in terror, felt a cold, skeletal hand grasp their hearts. When the storm subsided, leaving behind a landscape ravaged and desolate, the house stood silent, empty, save for the porcelain doll, Elara, its painted smile now serene, its obsidian tear dried, and a faint, almost imperceptible, childlike giggle echoing from the shadowed corners. The entity had moved on, leaving behind only the chilling echo of its unspeakable triumph. The dawn broke, a sickly yellow light struggling to pierce the storm-racked gloom. The parents, their faces etched with a horror beyond words, emerged from the wreckage of their home, their minds fractured, their souls irrevocably tainted. The air hung heavy with the lingering stench of ozone and something else, something ancient and foul, a miasma of cosmic dread that clung to the very fabric of existence. Elara remained, pristine and untouched, a silent testament to the unspeakable horror that had passed through their lives, her porcelain skin reflecting the pallid light like a glacial shard. Their grief, once focused on their lost daughter, now expanded, encompassing a wider, more terrifying loss, the loss of innocence, of sanity, of hope itself. They fled that cursed place, leaving behind the shattered remnants of their lives and the malevolent doll. But they could not escape the chilling echo of Elara's laughter, a sound that would forever haunt their waking moments and whisper insidious truths in their dreams. The world seemed subtly altered, warped by the entity's passage, the familiar rendered uncanny, the mundane imbued with a terrifying, cosmic significance. The whispers followed them, a chorus of unseen things, promising further transgressions, further incursions from the abyss. Their escape was merely a prelude to a far greater, more enduring horror, a slow, agonizing descent into the echoing void where sanity itself dissolves into the chilling embrace of the unknown. Their refuge, a dilapidated farmhouse miles from the cursed land, offered no solace. The very walls seemed to breathe, exhaling the same ancient miasma that clung to their ravaged minds. Sleep offered no escape, only a deeper immersion into the nightmare, where Elara, no longer a child but a grotesque parody of innocence, danced among the stars, her laughter echoing through the infinite void. The whispers intensified, coalescing into a chilling, guttural voice that promised not merely death, but a far more terrifying fate, a complete annihilation of self, emerging with the cosmic horror that had birthed Elara, a descent into an oblivion beyond comprehension, beyond even the bleakest imaginings of the human mind. One night, under a sky choked with malevolent stars, the guttural voice shattered the fragile remnants of their sanity. It spoke not in words, but in a language older than time, a symphony of dread that resonated within their very bones. The farmhouse groaned, its timbers creaking like the skeletal fingers of some ancient entity clawing its way into their world. The parents, their faces etched with the horror of 1,000 nightmares, clung to each other, their eyes wide with a terror that transcended the physical realm. Elara's spectral form materialized before them, no longer a child, but a monstrous amalgamation of flesh and shadow, her eyes burning with the cold fire of the abyss. Her laughter, once a child's innocent joy, was now a chilling shriek that tore at the fabric of reality. The walls dissolved, revealing a swirling vortex of cosmic horror, a maelstrom of unimaginable entities writhing in the inky blackness. The parents, their resistance futile, were drawn into the abyss, their screams swallowed by the infinite void. The farmhouse, a mere husk of its former self, crumbled into dust, leaving behind only the echoing laughter of Elara and the lingering scent of decay, a testament to the unspeakable horror that had claimed them, a chilling reminder of the cosmic indifference that lay beyond the veil of human comprehension, a stark and terrifying portrait of oblivion. Elara, no longer bound by the mortal coil, danced within the vortex, her spectral form a grotesque marionette manipulated by unseen, cosmic strings. The swirling chaos pulsed with a malevolent intelligence, a consciousness older than galaxies, indifferent to the suffering it wrought. From the abyss, tendrils of shadow reached out, clawing at the remnants of the farmhouse, dissolving the very fabric of the surrounding landscape into the same nightmarish void. The air itself thrummed with a low, guttural hum, a symphony of annihilation that echoed the ancient, unspeakable chants of entities beyond human comprehension. This was not merely death, it was the obliteration of existence itself, a cosmic erasure leaving no trace, no memory, only the echoing silence of an empty universe. And yet, in the heart of that void, a single, defiant spark remained, a tiny, flickering light, refusing to be consumed by the encroaching darkness. It was the memory of Elara, not as the monstrous being she had become, but as the innocent child she once was, a fleeting image of joy and innocence battling against the overwhelming tide of cosmic horror. This faint ember of memory, a testament to the enduring power of human experience against the cold indifference of the universe, persisted, a fragile beacon in the infinite night, a haunting whisper of what was lost, and a chilling premonition of what might yet be. The vortex pulsed, its malevolent heart beating in time with the disintegrating farmhouse, each throb a cosmic hammer blow shattering the last vestiges of Elara's earthly existence. The tendrils of shadow, thick as pythons and blacker than a moonless night, snaked across the dissolving landscape, leaving behind only a chilling emptiness, a void that mirrored the hollowness in Elara's spectral eyes. Her laughter, once a child's joyous sound, now echoed as a discordant shriek, a twisted parody of mirth born from the abyss itself. The guttural hum intensified, a cacophony of cosmic dread that vibrated deep within the bones, a prelude to the final, utter annihilation. Within the defiant spark of Elara's childhood memory began to flicker, threatened by the overwhelming power of the cosmic entity. But the ember refused to die. It pulsed with a stubborn resilience, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, however frail. The cosmic entity, for all its unimaginable power, seemed momentarily stymied, its ancient, unknowable intelligence seemingly baffled by this tiny resistance. The shadow tendrils recoiled slightly, as if sensing a force beyond their comprehension. Their memory, though faint, held a power of its own, a stubborn refusal to be erased, a whisper of hope in the face of cosmic oblivion. The chilling premonition lingered, a question mark etched against the canvas of infinite darkness. Could this fragile ember, this memory of innocence, ultimately triumph over the cosmic horror, or was it merely a fleeting illusion before the final, crushing darkness? The vortex pulsed again, a final, convulsive shudder that tore at the fabric of reality itself. The farmhouse vanished completely, reduced to swirling motes of dust in the abyssal maelstrom. Elara's spectral form, once a wisp of tormented humanity, now fragmented, scattering like ashes on a desolate wind. Yet the ember persisted, a defiant pinpoint of golden light against the encroaching black. It grew, not in size, but in intensity, radiating a warmth that defied the icy grip of the cosmic entity, a beacon of defiance in the heart of the void. The guttural hum faltered, replaced by a high-pitched whine, a sound of frustrated rage from a being accustomed to absolute dominion. The shadow tendrils, once confident and predatory, now writhed in chaotic retreat, their dark substance recoiling from the incandescent heart of Elara's memory. The cosmic horror, for the first time, seemed to experience something akin to fear, its ancient, unknowable intelligence confronted with a power it could not comprehend, the unyielding strength of a single, cherished memory, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of annihilation. The premonition shifted, the question mark dissolved, replaced by a faint, trembling hope, a fragile dawn breaking through the endless night. Then, silence. A profound, unsettling silence that followed the cataclysmic cacophony. The vortex collapsed, leaving behind only a star-strewn sky, impossibly vast and breathtakingly beautiful. The memory, now a fully formed image of Elara as a child, laughing in a sun-drenched field, remained suspended in the air, a testament to the enduring power of innocence, a tiny, vibrant spark in the cold, indifferent expanse of the cosmos. The cosmic horror was gone, vanquished not by force, but by the unwavering light of a single, cherished memory. The universe breathed a sigh of relief, but the relief was short-lived. a subtle shift in the celestial tapestry, a barely perceptible tremor in the fabric of spacetime, hinted at a lingering malevolence. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, their light dimmed by an unseen dread. From the void where the cosmic horror had resided, a low, guttural moan echoed across the infinite expanse, a sound that resonated not in the ears but in the very soul, a whisper of unfinished business. The child's laughter, once a beacon of hope, now felt fragile, a flickering candle flame threatened by a gathering storm. The victory, it seemed, was Pyrrhic, a temporary reprieve in an eternal war against the encroaching darkness. The image of young Elara, still suspended in the void, began to fade, its vibrant colors leaching into the cosmic blackness. The memory, once a bulwark against the abyss, was weakening, its power slowly draining away. The silence returned, heavier this time, laced with the chilling premonition of an inevitable return. The stars, once beacons of hope, now felt like cold, indifferent eyes, bearing witness to the impending doom. A creeping tendril, thinner than a spider's silk, reached out from the darkness, a silent promise of the horror's eventual resurgence, a testament to its insidious, immortal nature. And so, the universe held its breath, caught between the fragile memory of a child's laughter and the chilling certainty of an ancient, cosmic evil's inevitable return. The lingering moan deepened, a symphony of despair echoing across the silent expanse of space, a haunting reminder that even the brightest light can be extinguished, and even the most cherished memories can be consumed by the insatiable hunger of the abyss. The fight was far from over, it was merely a pause, a fleeting moment of reprieve before the ultimate, terrifying confrontation. The tendril, impossibly thin yet imbued with a terrifying strength, snaked closer, its unseen tip a harbinger of unspeakable things. It pulsed with a sickly, internal luminescence, a phosphorescent green that seemed to burrow into the very fabric of reality itself. The silence, once a mere absence of sound, now throbbed with a low, guttural hum, a cosmic heartbeat that resonated deep within the marrow of one's bones. The stars, those distant, uncaring observers, seemed to dim, their light swallowed by the encroaching darkness, as if the very cosmos itself recoiled from the entity that was about to be unleashed. The air, or what passed for air in this desolate void, crackled with anticipation, a palpable tension that threatened to shatter the fragile peace of the universe. Then, a whisper, barely audible above the cosmic hum, slithered into existence. It was a wordless sound, a symphony of dread woven from the fabric of nightmares, a sound that spoke of eons of suffering and the utter annihilation of all that is good and holy. It seeped into the mind, a parasitic infection that twisted thoughts and memories into grotesque parodies of their former selves. The memory of Elara, already fading, flickered and distorted, her innocent laughter replaced by a chilling scream that echoed through the void, a desperate plea lost to the indifferent vastness of space. The tendril pulsed faster, its growth accelerating, a horrifying testament to the approaching terror. With a final, shuddering groan, the abyss tore open, not a gaping maw of fire and brimstone, but a tear in the very fabric of reality, a wound in the cosmos that bled an oily, iridescent black ichor. From this rupture emerged not a monstrous form of flesh and bone, but something far, far worse, a formless, shapeless entity that defied description, an embodiment of pure terror. The doll had returned. The porcelain doll, Elara, that had sit on Clara's bedside table, the doll with painted eyes following every tremor of the child's feverish sleep, had returned. The entity, or rather, the absence of entity, pulsed with a malevolent sentence that chilled Clara to the bone. It was not merely the absence of light, but the absence of everything, a void within a void, a negation of being that threatened to consume all existence. Its approach was not a physical advance, but a creeping dread, a slow, insidious erosion of sanity. Clara felt her own thoughts dissolving, her memories becoming fragmented, replaced by the entity's own alien consciousness, a cold, calculating intelligence that saw her as nothing more than a vessel, a conduit to further its unspeakable designs upon the universe. The air itself seemed to thicken, growing heavy with the weight of cosmic horror, the very fabric of reality warping under its influence. Elara, the porcelain doll, now stood upon the bedside table, her painted eyes glowing with an unnatural light, reflecting the iridescent blackness emanating from the abyss. Her smile, once charmingly innocent, was now a rictus grin, a grotesque mockery of joy. The tendrils, now thick as pythons, snaked from the rift, reaching for Clara, their touch promising not death, but a far more horrifying fate, assimilation, the complete erasure of her individuality, her absorption into the formless entity's chilling void. Clara's scream died unspoken, a strangled gasp lost in the encroaching silence of oblivion. The finality of it was absolute. There was no struggle, no heroic defiance, only a slow, agonizing surrender to the cosmic horror. Clara ceased to be, her essence dissolving into the black ichor, her very existence swallowed by the abyss. The entity, sated for now, retreated back into its extra-dimensional prison, leaving behind only the unsettling silence of a universe slightly more empty, slightly more broken. The porcelain doll, Elara, remained on the bedside table, her painted eyes now dull, lifeless, a chilling testament to the room, once vibrant with life, now held only the oppressive weight of what had been. Dust motes danced in the moonlight filtering through the grimy window pane, each particle a tiny, mocking reminder of Clara's vanished presence. The air hung heavy, thick with the lingering scent of ozone and something else, something ancient and indescribably foul, a stench that clung to the very fabric of reality itself. Elara, the porcelain doll, sat unmoving, her painted features as blank and expressionless as the void she had served. The abyss, though retreated, left a residue, a subtle warping of space, a faint tremor in the air that hinted at the unimaginable power it possessed. Then, one moonless night, a faint luminescence emanated from Elara. Her painted eyes flickered, a spark of that infernal light rekindling within their depths. The abyss had not truly retreated, it merely slumbered, biding its time. And Elara, the porcelain conduit, remained, a silent sentinel awaiting the entity's return, a chilling harbinger of a horror far greater than Clara could ever have imagined, a horror that promised to consume not just a single life, but the very fabric of existence itself. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, a prelude to the inevitable. The whispers coalesced into a guttural chorus, a symphony of dread that vibrated through the very foundations of the town. From the shadowed depths of Elara's vacant gaze, a malevolent energy pulsed, a sickly green light that painted the night a grotesque parody of dawn. The air thickened, heavy with the stench of decay and ozone, a miasma that choked the breath from the terrified townsfolk who dared to glimpse the horrifying spectacle. Dogs howled in a frenzied chorus, their barks mirroring the primal fear that gripped the hearts of men, a fear that transcended reason and logic, a fear that spoke of ancient evils awakened from their slumber. The house of Elara, once a place of quiet domesticity, now stood as a malevolent beacon, a gateway to the abyss. From the heart of the house, a low moan escaped, growing in intensity until it became a deafening shriek that tore at the very fabric of reality. The ground trembled, and the shadows writhed, coalescing into grotesque shapes that danced in the sickly green light. The porcelain doll, Elara, seemed to writhe in silent agony, her painted face contorted in a rictus of unimaginable terror. The entity, no longer dormant, was making its presence known, its power expanding with each passing second, threatening to engulf the entire town in its suffocating embrace. The very stars themselves seemed to dim, cowed by the encroaching darkness. Then, with a final, earth-shattering roar, the house imploded, collapsing in on itself in a maelstrom of dust, debris, and unearthly energy. The green light vanished, leaving behind only an echoing silence, broken only by the whimpering of terrified dogs and the frantic breaths of survivors. The abyss had retreated, for now, but the lingering scent of sulfur and the palpable sense of dread remained, a chilling testament to the horror that had visited there. In the aftermath, the town of Oakhaven resembled a lunar landscape, craters of rubble marking where homes once stood. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of decay and the phantom whisper of unseen things. Amidst the devastation, a single, unbroken porcelain doll lay nestled amidst the debris. Elara, her painted eyes, once wide with terror, now stared blankly ahead, a chilling testament to the night's unspeakable events. The silence was more terrifying than the preceding cacophony, a pregnant pause before the next, inevitable act in this macabre play. The survivors, huddled together in the feeble light of a kerosene lamp, could only pray for dawn, a fragile hope against the encroaching darkness that still clung to the very soul of Oakhaven. Days bled into weeks, the town slowly rebuilding, yet a shadow of unease remained. Vespers spoke of strange occurrences, fleeting glimpses of unnatural shapes in the periphery, the chilling sound of Elara's laughter echoing from empty houses, and unsettling dreams that plagued the townsfolk, leaving them trembling and sweating in the dead of night. The local priest, a man hardened by years of witnessing human suffering, found himself unable to offer solace. Even his faith felt brittle in the face of such profound horror. The entity, it seemed, had not been vanquished, merely slumbering, waiting for the opportune moment to reassert its dominion. One starless night, a lone figure emerged from the ruins of the imploded house. It was a gaunt, cloaked form, its face obscured by shadow, yet its eyes burned with an unnatural, phosphorescent green glow. It held Elara aloft, the doll's painted smile now grotesquely widened, and a low, guttural chuckle echoed through the silent streets. The entity was back, and with it, the promise of a far greater, more unimaginable horror, a creeping dread that would engulf not only the doll but the entire family. The figure, a grotesque parody of humanity, moved with an unnatural grace, its cloaked form gliding through the cobbled streets like a phantom. Alara, held limply in its grasp, seemed to writhe subtly, the painted smile a macabre mockery of joy. A chilling wind, born not of the night but of some deeper, more sinister realm, whipped around the figure, extinguishing the few remaining flickering gaslights and plunging the town into absolute darkness. The only illumination came from the malevolent green glow emanating from the entity's eyes, twin beacons of impending doom that pierced the inky blackness. The silence, broken only by the rhythmic scrape of its boots on the stone, was heavy, suffocating, pregnant with the promise of unspeakable horrors. As it reached the town square, the figure paused, raising Alara high above its head. The doll's eyes, once painted, now seemed to possess a horrifying sentence, reflecting the same phosphorescent green as the entity's own. A guttural chant, a language older than time itself, rasped from its throat, a sound that seemed to burrow into the very marrow of the townsfolk's bones. The air crackled with unseen energy, a palpable sense of dread that tightened chests and chilled souls to their core. From the shadows, whispers answered the entity's call, a chorus of unseen things stirring from their slumber, their presence a chilling confirmation of the entity's return and its newfound power. The ground trembled, a low, resonant hum vibrating through the very foundations of the town. Cracks spiderwebbed across the cobblestones, and the air grew thick with the stench of decay and brimstone. The entity, its form now shimmering and indistinct, began to ascend, Alara still clutched in its hand, towards a swirling vortex of darkness that opened above the square. The townsfolk, paralyzed by terror, could only watch as the vortex pulsed, a malevolent eye staring into the heart of their terrified village. It throbbed with an unnatural light, a sickly green mirroring the unsettling gleam in Alara's now impossibly lifelike eyes. The entity's chant intensified, a symphony of dread that clawed at the sanity of those unfortunate enough to witness this unholy ascension. Each syllable felt like a blow, a hammer against their souls, driving them further into the abyss of despair. The whispers from the shadows grew louder, coalescing into a cacophony of guttural moans and hisses, as if the very fabric of reality itself was tearing apart. As the entity rose, the vortex expanded, swallowing the moon and stars, replacing the night sky with a swirling maelstrom of chaotic energy. The cobblestones beneath the townsfolk's feet crumbled to dust, their homes groaning under the strain of unseen forces. The stench of decay intensified, a miasma of death and corruption that choked and suffocated. Alara's eyes seemed to widen, reflecting the horror of her impending fate, a silent scream trapped within her glassy gaze. The entity, now a formless mass of writhing shadows and phosphorescent green light, neared the vortex's maw. With a final, ear-splitting shriek that shattered windows and silenced the whispers, the entity and Alara vanished into the vortex. The darkness remained, a gaping wound in the night sky, pulsating faintly before slowly closing, leaving behind an eerie silence, broken only by the whimpers of the traumatized survivors. The air, though still heavy with the stench of decay, slowly began to clear, leaving behind an unsettling stillness, a chilling testament to the entity's departure and the horrifying knowledge that it could return at any moment, drawn by the same ancient power that had summoned it forth. Days bled into weeks, each sunrise a grim reminder of the night's cataclysm. The town of Oak Haven, once vibrant, now lay in ruins, a skeletal husk gnawed by unseen horrors. The survivors, haunted by the spectral echoes of Alara's scream and the entity's ghastly form, huddled together, their faces etched with a terror that transcended mere fear. Whispers spoke of a creeping madness, a slow, insidious decay infecting their minds, mirroring the physical devastation of their homes and the lingering miasma clinging to the very air they breathed. The once familiar cobblestone streets now felt alien, treacherous, as if the ground itself held a malevolent memory of the entity's passage. The silence, though initially a relief, proved to be a far more insidious torment. Which was a silence pregnant with dread, a void where the comforting sounds of life once resided. The nights were the worst, a suffocating blanket of darkness punctuated only by the rustling of unseen things in the debris-strewn streets. Sleep offered no respite, only nightmares filled with swirling vortexes and phosphorescent green eyes burning into their souls. They dared not speak of the entity, for even its name seemed to summon its presence, a chilling reminder of the power that had briefly torn their world asunder. Then, a single, crimson star appeared in the night sky, a malevolent eye staring down at Oak Haven. It pulsed with a sickly, unnatural light, mirroring the green glow of the entity. A low, guttural moan, barely audible at first, began to emanate from the star, growing steadily louder, a prelude to a return far more terrifying than the last. The stench of decay returned, thicker, more potent than before. The survivors knew, with a chilling certainty, that the vortex was merely dormant, and the ancient power that had summoned the entity was stirring once more, preparing to unleash its full wrath upon it. The final, chilling shriek echoed through the cavern, swallowed by the oppressive silence that followed. Thus, disturbed by the tremor that had preceded the scream, motes in the slivers of moonlight filtering through the fissure above settled slowly onto the grotesque tableau before me. The Cyclopean idol, its single, obsidian eye gleaming with a malevolent light, stood sentinel over the ravaged form of Elias Thorne, his once vibrant spirit extinguished, his flesh a canvas of unspeakable violation. The air itself seemed to vibrate with a lingering horror, a palpable sense of something ancient and monstrous having been unleashed upon the world. My own heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the suffocating stillness. I stumbled back, my legs weak, my mind reeling from the sheer, unimaginable brutality of the scene. The air grew heavy, thick with a cloying sweetness, the scent of decay and something else, something indescribably alien. The shadows in the corners of the cavern seemed to writhe and deepen, taking on monstrous forms that flickered at the edges of my perception. Was it my imagination, or did the very stones themselves seem to pulse with a dark, malevolent energy? The thought sent a fresh wave of icy terror through me, a chilling premonition that I was far from safe, that the horrors I had witnessed were but a prelude to something far more terrible. With a desperate, almost animalistic cry, I turned and fled. The echo of my own panicked breathing was a constant companion in the labyrinthine tunnels, a stark reminder of my vulnerability. Shadows seemed to reach out, grasping at me, whispering promises of oblivion. The idol's eye, burning in my memory, seemed to follow me, a malevolent beacon guiding me towards an inescapable doom. Escape, I knew, was a fragile hope, a flickering candle against the encroaching darkness of a cosmic horror that dwarfed my own insignificant existence.